The supreme, profound, and sublime Dharma is difficult to encounter in a billion eons. Now I see it, hear it, receive it, and kept it. I vow to attain the true meaning of the Tathagata. In order to liberate all sentient beings, let us generate the supreme bodhicitta.
Yesterday we had already covered on the part of placing Buddhahood within reach and the pith instructions about it. We had also talked about the 6 bardos or the 4 bardos. The bardo teachings are really important. In fact, the bardo teachings were not taught extensively within the Buddha's sutras. Even other schools of Tibetan Buddhism, the Kagyu, Sakya, Gelugpa, Junampa, and so on and so forth, don't speak of the bardo teachings as much. The only one that talked extensively on bardo teachings is Padmasambhava. As we know that the reincarnation or the rebirth in the next lifetime has been taught extensively. However, whatever is in between is only talked extensively in the terma of Garma Limpa, in the hearing through liberation. This is very clearly illustrated in his terma. Other different religions, some of them talk about the heaven or hell, but the intermediate stage, the bardo stage, is not extensive. So I think when it comes to the bardo teachings, this teaching that's given by Padmasambhava or Karma Limpa is really important. For that reason, the Tibetan book of Living and Dying that's been translated in 1922, which is in exhibition in the Great Britain Museum. I visited there and took a look at that. This is the very first one that's been translated into English, and I think I took a photo of it. So it's been about 100 years, 101 years till now. The entire world started to look at the bardo teachings, and this teaching is included in the Nyingmapa teaching given by Padmasambhava. It's very extensive and quite in detail. Phuntsuk Rinpoche over here only spoke very briefly about the bardo of dying, dharmata bardo, and the bardo of becoming. On top of those, then there is also the bardo of samadhi or meditation, and then the bardo of dream, which is in between the state of being awake and being completely asleep. So that's the dream bardo. Also, the bardo of life between our birth to death. So these are the 6 bardos, from the Dharmata bardo, bardo of becoming, and the bardo of dying. These are the 3 that's been spoken about by Phuntsuk Rinpoche. Phuntsuk Rinpoche over here speak very briefly about them, but very clearly about each of those bardos. I think this is such an important teaching because all of us need to be prepared for death. Because we never know when we'll face death. Sometimes the people would go to hospital and after a checkup, it's already late-stage cancer, the cancer has already spreaded. Then at that point, what would you do? Or after a car accident, just a little bit of life is still within you, and what are you going to do at that time? After people pass away or at the time of a beloved one's death, the family and friends would just cry for 1 day or two, and then after that, that's it. That applies to all human beings, whomsoever you are. So I think when it comes to the Bardo teachings, I really hope that the lineage disciples of Phuntsog Rinpoche should practice and develop certain confidence at the time of death. I myself, compared to the others, I'm quite interested in this teaching. There are many teachings that are able to not only benefit all beings of all places in general, but also specifically designed to flourish in certain places. This practice manual will, in general, bring great benefit to the whole world. But more specifically, as I told you in the previous lecture, it is meant to be propagated in the Western countries. In the Buddhist cosmology, Buddhagaya is considered as the center of the world, and there are 4 major regions to its 4 directions. This manual is designed for countries to its west. So this has been explicitly pointed out in the prophecy that came with the teaching. It says that although the sun rises from the east, its brilliance will shine to the west. So I personally believe that compared to practitioners in the east, the Western practitioners will gain blessings and accomplishments more swiftly if they engage in its practice. I believe that compared to the practitioners in countries like India, part of which is literally to the west of Buddhagaya, the actual Western practitioners in countries like U.S. will benefit much more from this manual. Well, Phuntsog Rinpoche also addressed to the Chinese practitioner, the Han practitioners. He said that this particular teaching would be very beneficial to the people living in large urban cities. It would be very beneficial for the ones who have scattered mind and then live in large urban cities. Phuntsog Rinpoche indeed had his reasons when he talked about this Dharma teaching. On one hand, to give rise to a sense of joy when they hear this Dharma teaching. On the other, there's definitely reasons behind the way that he propagated this teaching. Because the Westerners, since they really enjoy to practicing meditation and then practice shamatha, that is why they really enjoy. Also, on top of that, they're quite busy in their daily life. That's why they really enjoy such a short and condensed teaching, such as Manjushri and Vajrakilaya. So I really advise those of Dharma teachers who propagate Dharma teachings to the West. It may not be feasible for you to give teachings on extensive Madhyamika teachings because it will be difficult for you to gather audience. But if you were to give them teachings such as Mahāti, then maybe they will have the opportunity to practice and to attain liberation. When it comes to propagating Dharma to the West, you have to look at their capacity, because the capacity of different beings are vary quite a lot, and you cannot just give them the same teaching. And then Phuntsog Rinpoche over here continue to say that, so I personally believe that compared to the practitioners in the East, the Western practitioners will gain more benefit and accomplishment more swiftly if they engage in the practice. And then he said the actual Western practitioners in countries such as US will benefit much more from this menu. Certainly, this is not written directly in the prophecy and only my personal opinion. Nevertheless, I do feel it is an extraordinary teaching that is closely connected and suitable for all of you. People in developed countries are very busy and have little time to learn and practice the Dharma. Nowadays, not only in the West, people back then, I think in the West they had lots of financial capacity. Also, they're very busy in their life, which is similar to us now. We have lots of things to do every single day. Also, we have cell phone. Now, if we were to surf and flip on our phone every day, we would squander our life and not able to accomplish anything. That is why in Larungar, it is advised that you do not use cell phone, and it is the best to turn them off. Or if you really have to use it for your staffing duties and so on, try not to serve or squander your time on it at all. And then he continues to say, yet as mentioned above, this manual is easy to understand and convenient to carry out, so it meets your needs perfectly. And then the audience laughs again. Some of the editorial members during working on this book, they wanted to take out all the laughs from it because they feel that it's unnecessary. But what's so funny about it? I'm not too sure if you understand the humorous point or why they find it humorous. Maybe because the capacity of sentient beings are different as well. When you practice this manual, if you understand the meaning of the entire text, you can engage in its practice easily. I have accepted you as my direct disciples and have entrusted this manual to you. This is the best I can provide for you. If you come to a certain point that you do not understand, you should ask for guidance from a qualified teacher who has its transmission so that you learn the meaning and know how to carry out on this practice. This manual is not difficult, and it will not take much time to learn and apply. Only after you fully understand the meaning of every phrase and sentence will your practice bring you great benefit. This is really not a difficult text to study. Some Khenpos and Khenmos asked whether in our class of engaging in actual practice, if they should practice this together. I'm not too sure because Phuntsog Rinpoche, when he was alive, he asked me to give teachings on it, but I don't dare to give the permission to Khenpos and Khenmos to let them give teachings on this text yet. So I haven't give them permissions. I am looking for various kinds of signs, including certain permissions given by protectors, maybe in my dreams or through my observation. That would be the best. But next year, some Khenpos and Khenmos will be giving the Vajrayana teachings, that is the treasury of Dharmakaya. I have given you the permission because through my observation of my dreams as well as the permissions of Dharma protectors, it is permitted. But when it comes to the peaceful manjushri, I think it is still too profound. Even if you understand it theoretically, and even if you understand the literary meaning, it is still not enough to give teachings of it, because some teachers, for their whole life, they would not give any teachings on Maha'ati, because that really includes the understanding or different levels of their own practice levels as well. And now there are many lamas who have received the transmission of peaceful manjushri. The lamas present here and many other lamas in India and the land of Tibet are holders of its transmission. There are also many Han Chinese practitioners who have its transmission. From among them, those who possess supreme qualities and are qualified to transmit the dharma of peaceful manjushri can assist you to carry forth your practice in the future and beyond. Well, in general, there are differences of levels of permissions for teachers to give Dharma teachings on the Sutrayana and on the Vajrayana. If you were to give the Vajrayana teaching, you have to have special permission. Especially when it comes to the pith instructions, you definitely have to have a special permission to give those pith instructions and empowerments. Out of the Maha'ati, the most important Lama, or the Lama that grants you the most kindness, are the ones who would give you the Tantra as well, especially when it comes to the pith instructions and empowerments. So without attaining a certain level, one is not permitted to give these parts of the teachings. This now completes the part on the brief instruction on placing Buddhahood within reach. And then the next part is the brief meditation guidance on Vajrayana, the Vajrakilaya Gurkhukma. Many lamas, after reading this book, they felt that Phuntsog Rinpoche had never given these profound teachings in Larongar even. They said that I've stayed here in Larongar for over 20 years, but I've never heard Phuntsog Rinpoche giving teachings on this. So now that this teaching is put into publication, some of those teachings are now available to you. They're really precious. After finishing the teaching on placing Buddhahood within reach, at the request of the audience, Chojé transmitted the pith instruction for visualizing the Vajrakilaya Gurkhukma. According to your request, I will provide you with a concise method on how to develop the generation stage of the Vajrakilaya Gurkhukma practice. Since the copies of the English version of this practice have been made available to you, I will just explain to you the essential points. Well, it would have been the best if you can bring your sadhana of the Vajrakilaya Gurkhukma. Anyhow, I will present the photo to you first, and then let's talk about the lineage supplication. The first part is a lineage prayer entitled Lineage Prayer that swiftly engages the blessings written by Gyalwa Rinpoche. You need to supplicate the lineage gurus successively one by one from the dharmakayaSamantabhadra, sambhogakaya, Vajradharma, and then nirmanakaya, Padmasambhava, to Nanam Dorje Dudjom, the Indestructible Subduer of Mara, from Rigdzin Godem, the Vajradharma Vulture Feathers, to Pema Wangchen. This is a supplication to all my previous incarnations until the present. This is to supplicate to all the previous incarnations of Phuntsog Rinpoche. After that, there is a supplication to the wrathful Vajrakumara and the hosts of deities in his mandala. You should be able to see it in the text. There are the 12 protectors of Vajrakilaya as well as 28 kings. So first we need to supplicate for their blessings and protections. The first part talks about the lineage that's further away and the close lineage in the middle, and then supplication to the protectors. So you supplicate for their blessings so that all the outer obstacles created by the Mara of sickness, obstructive spirits, ferocious ghosts, and all other harmful forces can be averted. And that all inner obstacles of the negative conceptual thoughts that prevents practicing the clear light great perfection can be pacified. Eventually, through their blessings, you supplicate to attain the direct realization of the meaning of the generation stage, the completion stage, and great perfection. Next, you take refuge, generate bodhicitta, and make samaya vow. When you're practicing it yourself, you should recite the lineage supplication, and then 3 times of taking refuge, 3 times of making aspiration, and then the samaya vow part, you could read it or not. If you do, then there's just 1 sentence associated to Vajrakilaya, and then you take refuge in Vajrakumara, the deity whose manifestation of your own awareness as absolute wisdom. To liberate all sentient beings from the ocean of suffering, you generate bodhicitta. You embrace the samaya vow with the commitment to keep the samaya of all wrathful deities in terms of knowing what to accept and what to reject. Here, Vajrakumara is another name for Vajrakilaya. This part is to make aspiration, where you make the vow to liberate all sentient beings from the ocean of suffering. And then the next part is you embrace the samaya vow with the commitment to keep the samaya of all wrathful deities. And then the actual generation stage begins. First, you need to arouse the view that all phenomena are empty, and then abide in that view. Next, out of the state of emptiness, visualize that in an instant you appear as the great, glorious Vajrakumara, king of wrath. That is the Vajrakilaya. Later, I will show you the photo.
这是那个法网的那个，观想那个金刚觉啊，就是那么如何这个观修啊，迹象这个金刚
How do you
公子呢
visualize the glorious Vajrakumara then? Where is the photo?
显出来了吗？看得到吗？
Is it on the screen?
看到了，
Can you see
是
it?
吧？
Yes.
然后就是观想，就是他的身色呢，
He
就是黑
is
色
dark
的，
blue
一
in
面二臂
color
的。
with one face and two arms,
这个
and his
就是那
palms
个
are
手
pressed
掌当中
together,
就是持着什么呢？就是戳着这个金
rolling
刚
a
诀
purba.
啊，就是对，就是戳，看得清楚是吧？那个金刚诀，法网的那个跟那个其他的有一些有双影像的，
This one
就是
is
这个是
a little
不是
bit
双影像
different
的。
because this one
也有一个
is
金刚诀
not
的这
in
个
union.
诞生修法，就是法网的
Lirab
这个
Limpa
金刚诀是一个
also
诞生修法。
has
我们今
another
天
one
看
that
完了以
is
后的话，
the
那就是
Vajrakilaya in union.
我看
This photo
明
is different.
明天就是
So
后面吧，
tomorrow-
明天今天可能来不及，明天你们就是带上
Well,
那个
since
金
we
刚
don't
诀的
have
手
enough
法，
time
就是
today, tomorrow I think it would be the best for you to carry the satna of Vajrakilaya, and then we can practice it together after the king of aspiration.
我们就一起念一遍，就简单的就是前面
After
前面的皈依
Sunandui,
和
and
发
then
心
we
和
will
然后那个
practice
记
this
住，
together.
然后
We
从那
will
个
practice
法
it
心
to
次第
all
开
the
始，
way
一
from
直到后
the
面的
taking
话，那个
refuge to
战胜和会相
generating
就是简单的这样修，大家
aspiration,
大家都会修的，就这样
generating
的。
bodhicitta,
然后
and
观
then
想的思
making
维就是这
aspiration,
样
and
的，它
then
是居
the
图呢
actual
就是蒙
practice.
就是
So
世事，
at the
还有呢
time
就是师徒
of
女八识，
making
还有身体的话呢就是
of
人皮啊、
practicing
象
with the
皮啊，就是
visualization, you
虎
should
皮啊，就
visualize
是这
him
些。还有身
as
上呢就是
dark
干
blue
的、
in
湿的、
color
鲜
with
血
one
的
face
人
and
头
two
嘛，
arms, and
壮
his
实这个
palms
身
are
体，
pressed
就观
together,
成
rolling
一
a
样，就是
purba.
空
He
无
is
的这种
adorned
现
with
象。
10
那么
haruka
双子以大力士的
accoutrements
这个
and
跨
8
越的方
ornaments
式
of the
站在
eternal
莲花
ground. More
日月
specifically,
中
wears
间
a
的一个
human
男
skin,
女
a
和
tiger
睦女
skin,
这
and
个
an
相遇，
elephant hide,
然后义兄
and
兄
is
这个智
ornamented
慧
with
火
a
焰
mala
当中
of
就是
dried
这样
human
命
skulls,
卦的，
a
就真的
garland
这
of
个八
slightly
金刚的
moist
话呢，大家
human
就是修
skulls,
的
and
时
a
候就
necklace
应
of
该
freshly
会
severed
这样
human
修。
heads.
然后就是念诵这个咒语，
Visualize
就是念诵
Vajrakumara
咒语的时
in
候呢，
this
就是我
terrifying
们就
form.
是
He stands
像
atop
就是
male
我
and
的哥哥
female
然后
Rudras
我们
on
的
the,
哥哥，然
the
后他这样念，
middle
然后
of
一切这个
a
声响呢，就
lotus
是就
sun
变成
and
这
moon
个
discs
护巴金刚
with
就
two
是本
legs
尊，
spread
然后
wide
一切
apart
声音呢，就是
in
变
a
成护巴
stride
金刚的
posture.
这
He
个
is
声音。
radiant
一切
within the
妄念呢，
expanse
就
of
是不
blazing
分别
wisdom
是智
fire.
慧的
You
流
need
露，
to
在这
clearly
种间接的境
visualize
界当
yourself
中呢，
to
安
appear
住
in
啊
this
观
way.
修。
While
然后
reciting
接
the
奏的时
mantra,
候，就是对对
maintain
那
the
个节
view
奏的
that
时候
all
呢，
appearances are the deity,
心
all
想原一
sounds
次三
are
界
the
为
mantra,
主的
and
所
all
有三
conceptual
界呢，
thoughts
就
are the
成
play
为
of
获
wisdom.
得这
Remain
个
in such
为
a
蒙
state
金刚
and
童子
recite the
作为
mantra.
毗邻
When
而所
concluding
会
the
想，
meditation
并且
session, we
呢，这个
dedicate the
思维
merit
原
by
一次
reflecting, may the
精进
virtue
于此的
accumulated in
深
this
深身
practice
体次
together
第
with
啊，
all my
身体
virtue
次第和圆满
become
次
the cause
第，
to
书法
actualize
的
the
山
fruition
根为
of the
尼啊，
wrathful
恒时消
Vajrakumara.
除
Then
释
recite
放
the verse
一
of
切不
auspiciousness and
迹
contemplate
象
by
的
the
灾
power
难，
of the merit
原
generated from the
三藐
diligent practice of
大
this
光明
profound
普照
generation and
三余，
completion
这就
stages.
是
May
这个
all
送吉祥文啊，这
inauspiciousness
应该
and
是这个
disaster throughout the
送吉
10
祥文就
directions
可
be
以了。如是已
constantly
经
pacified,
把你们所
and
种的这个
may
法本
all
上的
the
香的金
brilliance
刚
of
的
virtue
正
and
个引导
goodness
我们
shine
呢，就是
throughout the
已经做
three
了这个
realms.
解
The
释
guidance
清
for
楚
the
了
manual
啊，
of
法王这
Vajrakilaya
个
Gurkhukma
已经把
practice
这
now
个
has
金
been
刚
clearly
觉的话
explained
呢，
to you.
也大家想就是法王这个亲自呢，
So
已经
now you
对我们
should
传述一样的文字上是就
contemplate
这
it
样
in
子，应
such
该
a
也
way
会
that
去
you
接
have
受的。
directly
这个比较
received
简
it
单的嘛，
from
大家
Jigme
念一下一
Phuntsogren
遍这个
Rinpoche.
一
This
步，
is
然后
really
就多
quite
念。
simple.
大家
Tomorrow
如
we
果
will
时间不够
practice
的
it
话呢，念
together.
个100遍呢，就是心住，然
If
后
you
就是
can
做回向就
practice
可以。
the mantra
那么
for
下面就开始离
100
开这个
times,
逻辑
or
上
if you
了
have
啊，
more
就是
time,
有点
more
伤
times,
心，
that
就
would
是
be
好像
really
讲到
good.
这里的时候有很多的
Farewell
这个回
prayers.
忆啊，
At
就
this
是有
time
很多
when
的
I
这种
talk about the farewell prayers, I feel a little bit saddened. I feel this bittersweetness of remembering Pontsog Rinpoche and remembering that place. Remembering what happened back then. At this point, Yijin Norway had completed all the Dharma activities of conferring empowerments and giving teachings and practical guidance at Rocky Mountain Center. At the end of the last session, he offered his final prayers to all the students. Now, my time here is approaching to its end. I'd like to thank all of you at the center for your great kindness to me. You invited me to this country at the beginning and then covered covered the expenses for my trip and hosted me with the greatest hospitality. Like this gentleman, the scary, full-bearded David, he greeted me the moment I got off the plane and has been taking good care of me and arranging everything for me wholeheartedly. Well, Ponzo Rinpoche over here extended his gratitude, thinking about how Ponzo Rinpoche extended his gratitude to the center and to the people, and then reflecting upon ourselves. Do we show our gratitude to those who give us and shown us kindness? Ponzo Rinpoche, being such a great Lama, going to centers and bestowing such precious teachings and empowerments, he still extended his gratitude. Even if we were to receive a simple meal from others, even if we received any kinds of help from others, big or small, we should extend our gratitude to them sincerely and wholeheartedly. We should know how others being kind to us, and then we should also have the skillful means to express that. We shouldn't just remember that within our hearts but not express it at all. We should express it to the others so that they can feel it. Ponzo Rinpoche over here specifically extended his gratitude to David. He said that the scary, full-bearded David. Scary over here is not to look down on him or anything like that. Or rather, it was just a very kind and joking tone that Ponzo Rinpoche said. The practitioner David took really good care of him all the way from the beginning. I really wanted to get in touch with him and couldn't. I'm not sure if he still remembers me. Ponzo Rinpoche then continued to say that David greeted me at the moment I got off the plane and has been taking good care of me and arranging everything for me wholeheartedly till now. The end of this till the end of this visit, I'm deeply impressed by your great delight and faith in me. Thank you so much for serving me so well, even finding doctors to treat my health issues. All of these have caused you so much trouble. And this is no other way. There is no other way for me to repay your kindness. I can only pray for you sincerely that in all your future lifetimes you will experience perfect peace and happiness. Ponzo Rinpoche at that time extended his heartfelt gratitude to all of them, and we should also follow the example of Ponzo Rinpoche and show our gratitude to those people who had been kind to us. There are people who probably didn't do much to actually help you, but if they were to show kindness and care to you wholeheartedly, even that, I think you should know their kindness, and you should also pray for their happiness and peace for their future as well. Also, we do not just pray for those who had been kind to us, we need to pray for those who created harm to us as well. How do I offer my prayers for auspiciousness? First, may every managing member in your Sangha community attain high realization and great virtue and enjoy universal auspiciousness. Second, may all Vajradharma centers thrive and be fully endowed with success and prosperity. This is the second part of Ponzo Rinpoche's rededication of merit. The other day, I wasn't too sure about the current condition of this center, but then I heard that this center is still surviving, though that at the very beginning it went through certain difficulties and claimed bankruptcy at first, but it is still surviving over there. A third one is that may incomparable experience and realization arise in the mind of each and every one of you. Fourth, may you enjoy longevity, health, peace, as well as perfect happiness in this life. And the fifth one is, may we be able to meet again and again in this life, and so I can teach you and you can listen to the sublime Dharma. When this life comes to an end, may we be reborn in Sukhavati, the western land of bliss, where we will reunite at the feet of Lord Buddha Amitabha and enjoy the profound and vast Dharma. Unfortunately, Phuntsok Rinpoche later passed into parinirvana, but he compassionately at the time made such rededication of merit. His language is so beautiful and so graceful, and it just gushed out of his wisdom. And when we finally put them into words, into written words, we can see that all the prayers for the happiness of this lifetime and future lifetimes are all included. Chojé sealed the prayers by reciting the mantra of interdependent origination and verses of auspiciousness. Afterwards, he made aspirations and dedication. With that, the Dharma activities at Rocky Mountain Dharma Center were perfectly completed. We will look at the fourth stop. I looked into the fourth stop, which is the teaching of Gyalwa Rinpoche. But I think before the actual part of Gyalwa Rinpoche, there are a few classes that we can study, the preliminaries. So next class, maybe we will go to the fourth stop, Napa Valley.